Welcome to the pre-Thanksgiving week of the NFL season. Yes, the Thanksgiving and holiday season is just around the corner. I have 6 games for you as I preheated the oven. Last week, I went 1-3 against the spread, and I lost my upset special, which brings my overall record to 25, 27-2, and 7-6 in the upset specials. So grab your coat and mittens as we're headed up north. Let's start our Sunday journey in Lambeau Field. I like the Ravens minus a point over the Packers. Coming off a bye week, I look for this Ravens squad to be refreshed and recharged for a late playoff push to the AFC wildcard spot. I look for the Ravens D-line of T-Sizzle and company to give all kinds of fits and turn up the heat in Hutley's kitchen as the Bears sacked him 6 times a week ago. And when not getting rushed, I look for Huntley to have trouble cracking the code against the Ravens' pass defense and awesome secondary. When Flacco has the ball, I look for him to hand off to running back Collins to slow down the weak pass rush of the Packers and dial up some long distance play action passes to receivers Macklin and friends for some long distance plays. Yes, the Ravens win this one an inch closer to catching Buffalo for the last wild card spot. Better keep your coat and mittens handy as we're headed west to Minnesota. I like the Vikings minus a point, -2 over the Rams. I look for the Vikings defense to be a big test for Goff and the high-flying Rams, as the Rams hasn't faced a defense like this all year. I look for the speed of the linebacking core of the Vikings to give problems to Gurley and sack Goff and rush him, as he isn't as mobile as other quarterbacks. And by doing this, a lot of the receivers will be jammed at the line and won't have the airspace for long distance receptions. And when the Vikings are on offense, I look for them and Keenum to hand off to Murray and friends to ease Keenum's time in the pocket, and I look for him to target Rudolph and Thielen on offense to ease the pass rush of the Rams. Yes, the Vikings notched another win on their belt to keep ahead of the Lions in the NFC North. Now grab your sombrero as we're headed south of the border to Mexico City. I like the Patriots minus 6.5 over the Raiders. On offense, I look for Tom Brady to hand off and throw to his 4-headed monster of running backs, and I look for James White to have a big impact on the game in the receiving game and on third down. And by doing this, it will create room down the field for some home run balls to his big time receivers and and Cooks and friends. And by the second half, the Raiders' pass rush will wear down due to the high altitude, and it will give Tom Brady lots of time in the pocket. And the Patriots have been training in Colorado all week for the high altitude. And on defense, I look for the Patriots secondary to hold their own against the receivers of the Raiders, and they'll put enough pressure on Carr to get the job done. Now let's head to the Lone Star State and a Sunday night NFC East matchup. I like the Eagles -3 over Du Bois. On defense, I look for the Eagles D-line to copycat what the Falcons did a week ago against the Cowboys as well. I look for Fletcher Cox and Jernigan and friends to push the middle of the pocket so Prescott can't step up and flush him out where the other D linemen can clean up. And with Darby coming back, I look for the Cowboys receivers to have little room to roam and cause a lot of coverage sacks. And on offense, I look for Wentz to have some time and target Ertz and his running backs in receiving game in the middle of the field, as the Cowboys will be without Sean Lee, the captain of the defense. And I look for the Eagles to keep on streaking as they'll hit their 9th win in a row. Now, what you've all been waiting for. Yes, not only one, but two upset specials for the pre-holiday feast. So I hope you're hungry. I like the Redskins +8 over the Saints. With having some hard luck last week against the Vikings, I think the Redskins will be desperate and save their season. And they have the linebacking core, which they can slow down Kamara and Ingram. And they have the secondary that can challenge Breeze and hold the ball on longer than he wants to. And I look for Kerrigan to be a big factor in this game and get a few sacks. And when Washington has the ball on offense, I look for a steady diet of Perrine and Thompson in the rushing and Thompson in the receiving game for Cousins to have some explosive plays, and which will open things up for Davis and Doxson down the field. Yes, the Redskins whip up an upset victory in the Big Easy. Now for my second upset. Let's head to the Monday night primetime game special. I like the Falcons +3 over the Seahawks. I look for Matt Ryan to have time in the pocket and throw it to Jones and Gabriel and company against a weakened Legion of Boom missing Sherman and injured to Chancellor, who might play but might be slowed down by a neck injury, and Thomas just coming off an injury. I think the quickness of the receivers of the Falcons will give them problems, and Coleman will hold his own in the running and receiving game with the absence of Freeman. And on defense, I look for the speed of the Falcons' front seven to give lots of issues to the Seattle O-line and put some heat on Wilson. Yes, the Falcons get an upset victory in the Pacific Northwest. And for those of you looking for some teasers this weekend, I have a couple for you. I like the Redskins plus 16 with the Falcons plus 9.5 and the Ravens plus 5.5 and the Vikings plus 5.5. So here are my picks, and enjoy your NFL weekend.